Hi, this is ronMctube playing Hunter Call of Wild on PC, and today we're doing a guide for hunting for roe deer. We're on Hirschfelden. Now, I've not really hunted roe deer much on this map, so for the last 2 days I've been changing that. They're not really one of my favourite species, but sometimes when you put in a lot of effort, you find a species that you do like. You come to respect them a little bit and you enjoy hunting them. So that's my goal. Now I found these 2 spots which I'm marking where I've put tents. We're going to start at my first tent. If you freeze the video, you will see the exact location of where they are. They work really well. If this one doesn't, then the second one certainly does. Now what I normally do is I'll come to this spot, normally straight in front of you where this stand is. Now let's just show you the location. There you go. All around these fields that you can see that there's slightly less sandy coloured open fields. You do get a lot of roe deer around here. So what I'll do is I'll have a quick minute's look around this location looking for tracks. If roe deer is there, what happens is if it's not roe deer, it'll be wild boar or it'll be fallow deer. So you can use them for those species as well. But if they're not there, then I just go to the second point of fast travel where my tent is. Now the thing is, a lot of people will spend far too long, I feel, looking for animals in certain locations. Normally if you go there at a certain time, they're either there or they're not. Animals do move around quite a lot, and I've learned this especially with roe deer this week while hunting for them. One of them I followed for 30-40 minutes just trotting around, and the distance it covered, I was really surprised. So it also depends on the time you're hunting them. Now my second spot only seems to work really well from 1 in the afternoon till about 6. If you go then, roe deer literally guaranteed at the second spot from what I found, and there's normally a lot there. But I'm just trying here first because this does throw up roe deer, just not as good as the second point. So this is a good tip. If there's animals you don't really like hunting, but sometimes you've got to hunt them for a mission or something like that, just put in a little bit of time and just learn how they work. And often it doesn't become that problem species which everyone probably knows about when they're hunting a certain animal. They don't really like them much because they either don't know how to hunt them or they just don't really like hunting them. They probably don't see them as a trophy. That's how I found roe deer myself. They're not really impressive antler wise, but they're very popular with European people because a lot of people from Europe do hunt them in real life, so obviously that relates to the game. So we've had a look around here. All we've really found is fox tracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast travel to our second point. Now this second point is right on a lookout point and it's brilliant. We're going to check all around this lake, and that is almost guaranteed. As long as you hunt at the times I said, 1 to 6. It says 1 to 7, but 1 to 6 I found is optimal for getting the roe deer there. So we've got 243. We're at this lookout point. It's really good. Put a tent on top of this hill and you just run down this rocky cliff. It's a really good view over the valley, but it's also dangerous going down here, so you've just got to watch this. I have got a med pack on in case I need it, and you might do, because if you slip wrong you do die going down here because it's really rocky. But the reason you come here is you can see from here straight to where the pond is. You can get quite long shots here actually, about 300 meters. They're often in that open bit there where I'm looking, but sometimes they're to the left where you can't see, near the water. They come down here to drink and graze in this little bowl next to the river. But I've had some like 300 meter shots here, so it is quite good, but you just got to get down this rocks first without dying. I can't see any roe deer at the minute, but I think they'll be near the water. Like I say, 1 to 7 PM, 1 till 6 is probably the best time to get them at this location, and it does really work well. Hopefully we don't die. That's the only problem with this location. It is quite rocky and slippy to get down. If you do it right, not like that, you will you will get down. I just thought I'd show you what happens if you do it wrong. So you bring your med kit. If you die, you won't need the med kit, will you? Right, We'll go down here a bit left of where we just tried. You can get down normally quite easily. Then what you do is you creep through the valley, and as you come towards the pond, you should see them all grazing. And there's normally probably 6 or 7 roe deer about, so it's quite a good area. Sometimes the coming has been like 10, so it just depends. Sometimes there's fallow deer here. If you come at different times in the day, you'll get quite a few fallow deer. I've had some quite nice ones here. So it's good for fallow deer and roe deer. Just switch up the times if you want the fallow deer at this location. Times do play quite an important part in the game. Some probably don't think that. It's just some people just think that an area is roe deer or a certain animal. At a certain time of day, later on or earlier, it might be a different species. So apply that to your hunting on all the reserves, because like I say, you might be after red deer and mule deer at a certain point of the day. It might just be mule deer, so you might think, oh, there's no red deer here, and then you might come there later at night and there might be red deer. So always try and adapt your hunting and just try different things, and you might learn something new, and it might make your gameplay more fun and better. Right, here we go. So we've got wild boar tracks here. I should do some wild boar hunting. Not done that for a while. That was one of my first videos I ever did on this. I got early access to it before it come out to the public, and wild boar hunting was one of the first videos. You might have seen it, I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. I've not really hunted them much since then, actually, so I might have to revisit the wild boar. Try and get a diamond one. So what you do is you creep through this passage here, and they'll be on your left as you come through these woods. You might see wild boar as you come through here at this time. It will try different times, just slightly, and get later and later. Thought I heard something then. You never know. That little crack or something, you think you hear a footstep or something. You're always on edge when you're creeping through areas where animals are, aren't you? Also, your mind plays tricks on you sometimes. You're a bit anxious about spooking animals. Do love how the leaves fall on this reserve. Yesterday I did a brand new video on the new Easter egg that was found on Leighton Lakes. Some are suggesting it could be a hint at a new African map, maybe West Africa. People have been looking at the tribal statue. Check out my video. It's at the top of the mountain, and it looks like a West African tribal statue. Now, it could have been left over from another map, this and that. I've been at that location previously, quite a lot actually, because I used to do long range shots up there. I've never seen it, and it was funny how it discovered immediately after the newest patch. So normally most things get discovered really quick, so I can't see how that's been up there since day one. Like I say, I've been across those ridges numerous times. I've never seen it. So when it got added, who knows? That may come at some point soon. So here's our first roe deer. This valley, like I said, is really good for them. You should get quite a few golds and that, and hopefully get a diamond. Hope you do when you come to this location, but you do get quite a lot of them. It's probably the best spot I've found for just locating a large number of them in one spot all the time. That's what you want, a high probability of the species you're after, and then put a tent near that location. That is ideally what you're after. I'm just going to creep down this hill slowly and hopefully spot some better ones. It'd be nice to get a diamond, but you can't always guarantee that. But our idea today is find a good spot and help people to get roe deer for a start. And the second one is to have a look at the new TruRACS for roe deer, which has obviously been implemented. So previously, before, roe deer had fixed antlers, but now they've tongue-tied. They've introduced TruRACS, which is a random antler system. And from what I've seen up to yet, they do look quite impressive. Previously, some people weren't happy with how they looked. A lot of roe deer hunters do play the game from real life. They weren't quite happy, so they went and tweaked them, and they do look better than they were. I will say that. They'll obviously get feedback on that the more people play it and the more people see them. That looks quite a nice one. That's a 2. So you can see that's quite a long, high antler. If you're a roe deer hunter in real life, drop in the comments what you think about him. I would like to hear about that. So here we are. As you can see, you've got two teardrop drinking icons there. One's for fallow deer and one's for roe deer. So you can see fallow and roe deer visit this spot at a certain time of day. The roe deer is 1 to 7. So I'm just looking around, there's another one there. It's only a 1. But we'll shoot some 2s and 1s and whatever turns up and have a look at the antlers with the true antler score, just to show variation. But that does look very nice. So that one's down. So can we get the other one? Ah, yeah, he's just realised his mate's been shot. Here goes. This might be a tricky one. Slow down. Ooh, was that a bit early? I might have been a bit early. I might have to hit that one again. That should be the kill shot. What we want to do is just take a look at a few various different ones, so I can show you the different antlers. Now sometimes you might look at them and you just look like 2 prongs bent over, or whichever way you go, and they look similar from not far away or distance, whatever. But when you look at the true antler score system, you will see how different some of them are. Now some will be very similar. So here we go. That's a gold. It's quite a nice start. Left lung, right lung. 2, 4, 3. So we'll look at the true score. You've got A, B, C, D and E. Got the main beam length. Now when you look at them front on, they might just look symmetrical, no change. Some will be like that. But when you look at certain ones, they'll look like that. And then you check from overview, which I'll hopefully show you. See, look, there's a little bit of difference there on the main beam. But sometimes when you look overhead, you can see the real difference. So yeah, quite similar, almost identical on the circumference, burst circumference, identical. So that one is pretty much symmetrical. A, B, C, D, E, 74.8, and that's a gold. So that's our first roe deer of the session. We'll collect that one, and then we're going to have a look at the other one. It was about 6 or 7, about. Often they sit on this little hillside here as well that angles down, so sometimes if you see them there, don't shoot those first without looking where I'm running towards, because there's often quite a few grazing in these woods. We might get some more call as we collect this one here. Yeah, that was a fatal shot, the second shot I think. Here we go. Messed it up a little bit. Yeah. Vertebrae, stomach, liver. But the main one is to have a look at the TruRACS here. True score. Wasn't much in it. I was very close, but it was moving. Ideally you want them still, but sometimes the moving shot, if you wait till they just start to slow down, they will do after a little canter, and then take a shot if you have to. But this isn't really about the trophy hunting today, it's more about location, helping people find them. Right, let's have a look at the true score. Alright, there we go. Now you can see that one straight away. Look on the right there, that is a lot shorter. You can see that to the other one. So the main beam length on these will be different. Now if you looked at that normally, it probably would look from a distance just symmetrical, but you can see here that there is a difference. So the length of tines is a difference as well. Circumference, difference again on that. So like I was saying, sometimes they might just look symmetrical and they're not, until you get them close up on this true score evaluation, and you can see that. That's a nice second one. One's just running off. I think it was a female. We'll take a look. The females are slightly orange. At the end of this video, I'm going to do some close-ups with the cinematic camera. I know a lot of people like that, and we'll take a look at both a male and a female and just show you how they move, what they're like, the coloration on the skin and the muscles and such. It is a great tool, and it really does help show how good the animals are, how well they're animated, how realistic they are. Got a 1 running off there. I might actually chase that, because we haven't had a 1 yet, we've had 2s. So just see what some smaller antlers look like on the road here. So here's our location, as you can see. It's all pink at the minute. You can see lots of wild boar about as well. But there you can see, I'm trying to show you the need zone. So that says 1 till 5. So any time between 1 to 6 in this area is roe deer heaven. You will get fallow deer here as well, so check around here for fallow deer and see if that works for you as well. Let's collect this. This is a female, so I just thought I'd shoot this while it's there. They've got like an orangey, foxy kind of colour on the fur. More roe deer are calling. I think we'll actually go and get that one because there was a 1. Just to show you the difference on the true score, on the TruRACS. How are you finding the TruRACS animals that's been introduced up to yet? Do you like them? Is there things you would like to see changed? Drop that in the comments. Is there any animals you're wishing that would be added to any reserve? Drop that in the comments. There's lots of things going off in the Call of Wild at the minute. Lots of new content coming. It's great. So much is being added. Hello, what are you doing there? Another female. Look at all these tracks. So there is plenty of roe deer in this area. What's that? Another female. Definitely give it a go. One little tip here is when animals are close, this goes for a lot of species, you can take your scope off because it might make it easier to hit them. But when you do take your scope off, obviously you might not be as accurate. So take your time when shooting because you might bodge it up. But sometimes it does make it easier. And I think I've just bodged that up. But sometimes I often take the scope off when it's super close because obviously with a zoom, if they're really close, it might make it harder to shoot. But obviously it might be less accurate like I've just shown you. We've got that one anyway after the second shot. Go and collect it. Not on about maximum score anyway because it's only a 1. So it's not going to be a massive trophy anyway. Schonfield, Strawfields. What have you been up to this week? Have you had any trophy animals, any rares? Drop that in the comments. I'd like to hear about that. You should check out the Hunter Discord. Lots of us go on there, talk each day, drop pictures in, drop tips in there. There's videos from all the different content creators. The Hunter Facebook group as well. It's absolutely thousands of people on there. We're all dropping content on there, pictures, tips, funny things as well. That's some of the best parts on there. So make sure you check those out. There it is. And the rain's come. I wondered when it'd come. So this is a 1. And as you can see on top of its head, and I'll turn it round, on the true score, look, they've got tiny little pricks. 2 little devil horns. Like clothes pegs. But it's nice to see that. Look, they're tiny. Sometimes the really tiny animals are actually as rare as the big diamonds. The really small ones. Some people collect them in the lodges, just like a lodge with just small things in there. So as you can see, there's a 1, different variation. So now we're going to go back to the same area again, different time, slightly later in the afternoon, and see if we can get some more roe deer there. Try and get some other different scoring ones and some different variations of the TruRACS. Just to show you that there is different variations. We've got one in front of us. It's quite nice. Well, that one's got really long ones. Look, really long antlers on that one. I thought that was a 3 for a minute there, which would have been a diamond. It's really long for a 2. But that's the difference with the variation. We've got a female coming in. Lots of them trotting about. I'm going to take this one here because it looks really big for a 2. Here it goes. There you go. The fog's coming in. It can get quite thick on different reserves when the fog comes after the rain and such. It can make visibility quite hard to see. Now let's collect this. So that's a male. It's a gold, quite a big gold. But look at those really long antlers on top. True score. Look at that. Look how long they are. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Quite a lot of variation on that one. Let's have a look. 15.8, 14.9. So yeah, quite a bit of difference there. And the main beam length. Length of tines. Little variation there. Circumference. Quite a bit of difference there. Quite a bit on the burr circumference. So there you go. You can see quite a bit. Look, this is what I was on about when you're looking overhead. Now you won't see that looking head on, but the left and the right are quite a lot different. They might look symmetrical head on, but look at that. You can definitely see a difference there from the left and the right one. And that's what TruRACS is all about. So that's a great example to show TruRACS for roe deer. What a great addition it is. Now what we're going to do now is I'm going to go to the cinematic camera and we show you a close-up of the roe deers and what they look like. So here's a nice male. Now look at the colouring of the skin. Very mottled grey and sort of charcoal brown. There's the antlers. It's really good when you close up. You won't hear this in game unless you like this, but you can hear them. They've actually added like the grunching when they're chewing the grass. Got a nice little glint in their eye. Various different animations, which like I say you probably wouldn't notice, but it just shows you how much detail goes into like the neck muscles, shoulder muscles, lots of different areas and how realistic they are. Got a little white touche, which you often see when they're bouncing away. But there's so many different things are added that people don't even realise, or you probably don't think about when you're shooting them or just getting ready to shoot them, what are added. Here's a female roe deer. These are like foxy orange, I'd call it. Slightly pale grey. White touche. I do love how you can see all the muscles, the bone structure. Glint in the eye. So one thing I'll say is, I didn't like hunting roe deer much until this week of putting in a few days hunting them, and now I actually enjoy hunting them. Now I understand how to hunt them and where to find them in the location. I hope I've helped you out. They are brilliant animals and I will be hunting them a lot more now. That's been me, ronMctube, been hunting for TruRACS roe deer in this video. It's been a great video, I really enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it and thanks for watching. Bye bye.